Today I'll be talking about self-control and whether motivation psychologists and coaches and parents and teachers may actually overrate or misunderstand what self-control means. And I'll be using a famous example from the Olympics involving U.S. women's gymnastics. I'll just remind you that I've been focusing on motivation, and that I've argued that the way we find motivation in our everyday lives is by setting personal goals, because when we focus attention, we give effort, we persist. I've also mentioned that unfortunately with personal goals, we often come up short, and the reason we come up short and fail is primarily because of a lack of self-control resources. I did say the last 3 meetings that we can circumvent these limitations by selecting autonomous goals, by finding people who can support us, and by using implementation plans. And I've talked a lot about self-control, and clearly self-control is important. It's a good thing to have. It's a good thing to develop. Let me remind you how it's defined. So it's defined as the capacity to alter or override your typical way of responding. And other terms, more colloquial terms, are willpower and self-discipline. And self-control is a particular form of self-regulation that's more deliberate and conscious and effortful than, for example, playing or relaxing or doing other things that don't require self-control. Now, the example I want to use that brings the issue of self-control into focus is the 1996 Olympics, and it was the women's gymnastics competition. And this was the first time that the Americans had a chance to actually be the gold medal winner. They would always lose to Russia and Romania. Now they lose to China. They had their greatest team ever. They called them the Magnificent Seven. And you can see Kerry